So friends, Donald Trump's Department of Justice officials have been desperate to dismiss the criminal case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams. But the federal judge presiding over the Adams case just told Trump's team, not so fast. Y'all have some explaining to do. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, it looks like old Mayor Adams is headed to court on Wednesday, and prosecutors are going to have to explain to the judge why in the world they are trying to dismiss Eric Adams' criminal case, his public corruption prosecution, when this guy, Acting Deputy Attorney General Emil Bove, said, it has nothing to do with the evidence in the case. Apparently it has something to do with what Eric Adams can do for Donald Trump. Let's start with the new reporting. This from Politico. Judge calls prosecutors into court to explain reasons for abandoning Eric Adams' case. And that article begins, the federal judge overseeing the criminal case against New York City Mayor Eric Adams ordered the mayor and federal prosecutors to appear in court on Wednesday to discuss the Trump administration's effort to drop the case, a move that has sparked a crisis within the Justice Department and chaos within the Adams administration. U.S. District Judge Dale Ho wrote in an order Tuesday that Adams, his lawyers, and prosecutors should be prepared to discuss prosecutors' rationale for seeking to dismiss the case, the reasons for Adams' agreement to do so, and the procedure for resolving the motion. Judge Ho's order is the first indication that he may not quietly accept the Justice Department's effort to torpedo the case, in which Adams is accused of bribery and other corruption charges. Some legal experts think the judge has limited power to resist the dismissal, but others believe he could refuse to allow the charges to be dropped. The advocacy group Common Cause has asked Judge Ho to appoint a special prosecutor to take over the case. And friends, let's remember what Acting Deputy Attorney General Bove said about why they were trying to get rid of Eric Adams' criminal case. Bove wrote in a memo to the office that the case has improperly interfered with the mayor's re-election campaign and could hurt his ability to support Trump's immigration agenda. Bove also wrote that the decision wasn't based on the strength of the evidence or on the legal theories underpinning the case. And let's remember, friends, they're trying to dismiss Eric Adams' criminal case without prejudice, which means they can hold it over his head as leverage to make sure he does exactly what the Trump administration expects of him. And if he doesn't, they can re-indict it and prosecute him in the future. I mean, it's like these folks have taken a page out of the playbook, Unethical Attorney Conduct for Dummies. Okay, friends, let's turn to Judge Ho's very short two-page order. In the case of United States of America versus Eric Adams, defendant, Judge Ho writes the following. On February 14, 2025, the government, the prosecutors, filed a motion seeking dismissal without prejudice of the charges in this case with leave of court, pursuant to Rule 48A of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure. That rule provides that the government may, with leave of court, dismiss an indictment, information, or complaint, and as the Second Circuit Court of Appeals has explained, Rule 48A was not promulgated to shift absolute power from the executive branch to the judicial branch. Rather, It was intended as a power to check power. The executive remains the absolute judge of whether a prosecution should be initiated and the first and presumptively the best judge of whether a pending prosecution should be terminated. The exercise of its discretion with respect to the termination of pending prosecutions should not be judicially disturbed unless clearly contrary to manifest public interest. In this way, the essential function of each branch is synchronized to achieve a balance that serves both practical and constitutional values. The government's determination to abandon a prosecution is entitled to great weight and to a presumption of good faith, but it is not conclusive upon the court. Otherwise, there would be no purpose to Rule 48A, which requires leave of court to enter the dismissal. Rule 48A's requirement of judicial leave contemplates exposure of the reasons for dismissal. The parties are, therefore, ordered to appear before the court for a conference on February 19, 2025 at 2 p.m. in courtroom 318 of the Thurgood Marshall Courthouse, 40 Foley Square, New York, New York. The parties shall be prepared to address, inter alia, among other things, the reasons for the government's motion. Okay, friends, we've got to circle back to a few of the highlights in Judge Ho's order. Highlight number 1, a motion to dismiss can only happen with leave of court. In other words, the judge has to approve the prosecutor's motion to dismiss if the case is to be dismissed. Highlight number 2, the leave of court provision in the federal rules is designed as what? A power to check power. In other words, the power of the judiciary, of the judge of a co-equal branch of government to serve as a check on what might be a corrupt exercise of power by the executive branch, by another branch of government. Third highlight, the court should deny a prosecutor's motion to dismiss only if it's clearly contrary to the public interest. Is this motion to dismiss Mayor Eric Adams' public corruption case in the public interest? Because there's no problem with the evidence. It's just that Trump and company want Eric Adams to be in a position to help Trump with his political priorities. Okay, does that sound like it's in the public interest for the people of New York? Hell no. It's contrary to the public interest of the people of New York. So I can't wait, friends, to see what Judge Ho does in Wednesday's hearing. Will he insist that Emile Beauvais take the stand, be placed under oath, and testify about how it's not bribery or conspiracy or obstruction of justice to say to a criminal defendant, oh, the evidence is fine. Public corruption crimes out the wazoo, victimizing the people of New York, but we'll get rid of that case for you if you help President Trump with some of his priorities. That is using your official position as a federal prosecutor to extract a thing of personal value or of value to your boss from the defendant. Feels kind of bribery-ish, right? Well, I have a feeling Judge Ho will get to the bottom of it and hopefully will make the right decision that is in the public interest of the people of New York. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.